Welcome back to 21st Century Dating Decoded, the official Speed Mingle podcast. I'm your host, Don, and today we are diving deep into a topic that's been sparking intense conversations, generating think pieces across major publications, and maybe eliciting a few confused shrugs across the rapidly evolving 2026 dating scene. The chill factor. Why Gen Z men are hesitant to date in 2026. We've all seen the headlines. The data is clear, and the social media chatter is louder than ever. Traditional dating, with its defined expectations and structured rituals, seems to be getting more complex, more cumbersome, and less appealing to a significant demographic. A noticeable and frankly fascinating trend is emerging. A growing number of young men, particularly those in the Gen Z cohort, roughly ages 18 to 29, seem to be deliberately hitting the pause button on traditional committed courtship. But why? Is it simply the crushing pressure of performance, the need to curate a perfect online persona and flawlessly execute a first date? Is it the constant, inescapable visibility of social media, where every interaction is potentially scrutinized, judged, and broadcast to an audience of thousands? Has the casual comfort and low-stakes nature of the omnipresent situationship replaced the need for committed partnership? Or is the simplest explanation the truest? The pure, unadulterated, and almost magnetic chill factor. For many, the prospect of staying home, immersed in a high-fidelity gaming console, binge-watching an endless streaming library, or building a side hustle seems far more appealing, far safer, and infinitely less stressful than navigating the volatile and often disheartening modern dating minefield. In this episode, we're not just observing the shift. We're going to systematically break down the multi-layered forces contributing to this seismic change. We'll investigate the cultural redefinition of masculinity in partnership, the economic pressures of student debt, and a competitive job market that prioritize professional stability over emotional entanglement, and the social forces driven by technological mediation that have redefined connection. We'll dissect the latest, most revealing datasets on commitment rates and relationship satisfaction among young adults. Crucially, we'll hear some raw, anonymous anecdotes from Gen Z men themselves, giving us first-hand insight into the anxieties and motivations behind their dating reluctance. Our goal is to decode what this phenomenon truly means for the future of courtship, marriage, and relationship formation. Whether you're a woman trying to understand the current relationship landscape, a man who feels profoundly seen by this episode's title and is looking for validation, or just someone endlessly curious about the inner workings of modern human connection, you won't want to miss this deep, analytical dive into the complicated 2026 dating equation. Let's decode this, and perhaps find the elusive balance between commitment and the irresistible call of the chill factor. Welcome to 21st Century Dating Decoded, the official Speed Mingle podcast. I am your host, Don, and today we will undertake an in-depth analysis of a subject that has provoked significant dialogue, generated extensive commentary across major publications, and perhaps elicited a degree of confusion within the rapidly evolving 2026 dating environment. The chill factor. Why Gen Z men are hesitant to date in 2026. The evidence is unambiguous, and the discourse on social media is increasingly pervasive. Traditional courtship, characterized by defined expectations and prescribed rituals, appears to be becoming more intricate, burdensome, and distinctly less appealing to a notable demographic. A demonstrable and frankly compelling trend is materializing. An increasing proportion of young men, particularly those within the Gen Z cohort, approximately ages 18 to 29, seem to be deliberately adopting a moratorium on traditional, committed romantic engagement. The fundamental question is why? Does this reluctance stem merely from the overwhelming pressure of performance, the necessity to cultivate a flawless online persona and execute an impeccable initial date? Is it the pervasive, inescapable scrutiny of social media, where every interaction is subject to potential analysis, judgment, and widespread dissemination? Has the informal comfort and low-risk nature of the ubiquitous situationship supplanted the fundamental necessity for committed partnership? Or is the most parsimonious explanation the most accurate, the pure, unadulterated, and almost magnetic chill factor? For many, the prospect of remaining at home, engaging with a high-fidelity gaming console, consuming an extensive streaming library, or developing an independent business venture appears far more attractive, considerably safer, and infinitely less stressful than navigating the volatile and often discouraging terrain of modern dating. In this installment, we will not merely observe this paradigm shift. We are committed to systematically deconstructing the multifaceted forces contributing to this profound change. We shall investigate the cultural redefinition of masculinity and partnership, the economic pressures arising from student debt and a competitive labor market that prioritize professional stability over emotional entanglement, and the social forces driven by technological mediation that have fundamentally altered the nature of human connection. We will critically examine the most recent and revealing datasets concerning commitment rates and relationship satisfaction among young adults. Crucially, we will incorporate raw, anonymous accounts from Gen Z men themselves, providing first-hand insights into the anxieties and motivations underpinning their reluctance toward dating. Our objective is to rigorously decode the true implications of this phenomenon for the future of courtship, marriage, and the formation of relationships. Whether you are a woman seeking to comprehend the contemporary relationship landscape, a man who finds profound resonance with the subject of this episode and seeks validation, or merely an individual perpetually curious about the mechanisms of modern human connection, you will not wish to forego this deep, analytical examination of the complex 2026 dating equation. Let us proceed to decode this challenge, and perhaps locate the elusive equilibrium between commitment and the irresistible allure of the chill factor. The simple act of asking for a date has transformed into an arduous social obstacle course for many Gen Z men. Despite growing up with technologies designed to connect people, a distinct chill factor permeates the dating scene, manifesting as heightened apprehension, analytical paralysis, or an outright choice to avoid traditional dating initiation. Sociologists and relational specialists agree that a confluence of these pressures is fundamentally reshaping gender dynamics, leading to a generation of young men increasingly reluctant to start conversations, approach potential partners, or formally ask a woman out. The intensity of digital scrutiny and reputational hazard. As the first generation to have no collective memory before social media, Gen Z possesses an acute awareness that digital scrutiny is constant. Every interaction, especially in the early stages of courtship, is subject to immediate, public, and viral judgment. The fear that a simple approach could be misconstrued, a private message screen captured, or an exchange turned into a public narrative, a detrimental date warning or cautionary alert, acts as a powerful deterrent. Dr. Eleanor Vance, a sociologist specializing in digital culture, notes, the criteria for acceptable dating conduct is exceptionally demanding and unforgiving. For Gen Z males, a minor social lapse, an awkward compliment, an ill-timed approach can lead to social ostracization, professional reputation impairment, or public opprobrium on a massive, enduring scale. The catastrophic reputational risk consistently outweighs the perceived potential benefit of securing a date. This comprehensive digital documentation fosters hypervigilance, shifting the focus from establishing authentic rapport to conducting rigorous risk assessment, thereby stifling spontaneity and genuine interaction. Navigating evolving social and gender norms. The past decade brought swift and significant advancements in the discourse surrounding consent, personal boundaries, respect, and gender dynamics. While most young men intellectually support these changes, applying these nuanced social protocols confidently, spontaneously, and naturally remains a substantial challenge, resulting in uncertainty and subsequent passivity. Modern dating initiative is heavily suppressed by a combination of fears and cognitive hurdles. Fear of misinterpretation. Anxiety over tone and intent leads to analytical paralysis, causing men to overthink and ultimately remain silent rather than risk an awkward interaction. Ambiguous communication norms. Evolving cues and appropriate language can result in interactions feeling overly formal or restrained. Increased accountability. The high stakes and fear of professional, academic, or social backlash from a failed approach drive people to avoid initiating connections in public or institutional settings entirely. The lure of low-stakes environments. The permanence of digital documentation, the threat of screenshots or viral posts, pushes daters toward low-stakes, anonymous online environments rather than real-world vulnerability. Leo Chen, a 22-year-old economics student, encapsulates this sentiment. I am committed to ensuring my conduct is respectful and non-invasive, but I frequently lack clarity on the precise location of the boundary in real-world settings. I would honestly prefer to entirely abstain from the action than risk causing her discomfort or apprehension. This reluctance, though rooted in ethical behavior, translates into detrimental social inaction. The counterintuitive effect of digital dating platforms. Dating applications like Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble were intended to streamline connections, but their widespread use has had a counterproductive outcome. They have attenuated essential, real-world opportunities for young men to practice and refine fundamental conversational and courtship skills. These applications reduce complex human engagement to superficial evaluations, creating a low-stakes, high-volume, and ultimately expendable view of prospective partners. This mentality poorly prepares them for the emotional investment and delicate communication required in a face-to-face context. Furthermore, the intensely competitive nature of these platforms is profoundly discouraging, since women routinely receive a substantially greater volume of messages and indications of interest. Men frequently face a sustained cycle of rejection, silence, or being ignored. This pattern contributes to pronounced dating fatigue, a reduction in self-regard, and a reinforced conviction that initiation is futile. The applications inadvertently condition them to anticipate rejection, making the prospect of a vulnerable, in-person approach even more formidable. economic and mental health burdens as confidence deterrence. Beyond social pressures, Gen Z is disproportionately grappling with acute economic distress and a coinciding mental health crisis, which reorder life priorities. The burdens of student loan debt, navigating a volatile post-pandemic labor market, and a growing acknowledgement of mental health challenges mean that pursuing a compatible partner often falls significantly on the hierarchy of needs. These external pressures directly contribute to a critical deficiency in the self-assurance necessary for effective courtship. As Maya Jenkins, a life coach, notes, confidence is not an inherent attribute. It functions as a prerogative when one is chronically stressed, financially encumbered, and fundamentally uncertain regarding future stability. It is exceedingly challenging to render oneself vulnerable and confront potential rejection when one feels they have not yet attained basic stability or, quote, organized their life. The concentration shifts from the emotional objective of finding a partner to the practical objective of achieving financial and existential security. Prospective strategies, de-escalating risk, and redefining connection. Experts agree that the solution is not merely providing better pickup techniques, but rather an essential, broader cultural transformation. There is an imperative need for candid, non-judgmental, and constructive dialogue about contemporary dating etiquette that fosters mutual understanding rather than instantaneous censure. The environment must transition away from the current paradigm of hyper-scrutinized, high-pressure individual interactions. The emerging trend points toward a movement for more informal, low-stakes, and group-centric social engagement. Connections are increasingly established organically through shared affiliations, leisure pursuits, or collective endeavors, e.g., fitness classes, literary societies, gaming collectives, rather than the traditional, high-pressure, one-on-one solicitation for a date that demands a definitive affirmation or refusal and carries immense social weight. The future of Gen Z dating is less likely to be a regression to prior norms, but an evolving redefinition of what a confident, secure, and meaningful connection entails in an era defined by perpetual digital observation and pervasive anxiety. This concludes our comprehensive analysis. The chill factor: why Gen Z men are hesitant to date in 2026. Presented on the 21st Century Dating Decoded, the official Speed Mingle podcast. This episode has served as a critical examination of the anxieties, pressures, and evolving priorities that delineate the romantic lives of young men in the contemporary environment. The modern dating paradigm, as explored herein, represents an exceedingly intricate structure, influenced by a convergence of elements ranging from the meticulously curated presentation and public scrutiny inherent in social media, to substantial alterations in traditional gender roles and prevailing societal norms. We have thoroughly dissected the implications of dating fatigue, the apprehension regarding miscommunication within a hypersensitive cultural climate, and the increasing preference for professional or personal self-development over the emotional investment required for a committed relationship. We trust that this discourse has furnished our listeners with valuable, multifaceted insight into the distinctive challenges and considerations presently confronting Gen Z men. The paramount principle, which remains immutable across this emerging epoch of connection, is this: transparent, candid, and empathetic communication, coupled with a genuine commitment to mutual understanding, is more indispensable now than ever before. The commencement of connection necessitates dialogue. We are dedicated to the continuation of this vital discourse. Therefore, we encourage you not to overlook any forthcoming episodes. Kindly listen and subscribe today at https://t.ee/21st_century_dating_decoded. The conversation doesn't stop at this podcast. Speed Mingle is more than just an event planner. We're a movement reclaiming real, face-to-face chemistry in a world glued to screens. We hear the craving for genuine human connection, and we're answering it by taking our events and vibrant community nationwide. Join our team as a host, licensee, or venue. Speed Mingle is actively recruiting and onboarding highly dynamic hosts to facilitate our in-person dating and social events throughout the United States. Do you exhibit a charismatic demeanor and a high degree of interpersonal energy? Do you possess superior organizational proficiencies and a profound dedication to uniting singles within a stimulating, secure, and well-structured setting? Do you recognize the intrinsic value of an in-person first impression? Prospective candidates meeting these criteria are invited to submit their interest. Assuming the role of a Speed Mingle host provides the opportunity to operate a localized enterprise under our established and reputable brand, thereby exerting a direct, positive influence on the social fabric of your community. Furthermore, we are proactively seeking visionary licensees and attractive venue hosts for strategic collaboration across all Speed Mingle happenings and social events. Licensees receive a turnkey solution, including our proven business model, established brand identity, and full operational support. This is a prime opportunity to capitalize on the surging demand for in-person connection and establish yourself as the market leader for singles events in your city. Venue hosts activate your space with Speed Mingle. We bring the crowd. You provide the setting. Partnering with us means guaranteed traffic, midweek or weekends, boosted bar tabs, and exposure to hundreds of potential new regulars. Perfect for bars, restaurants, and unique event spaces, this presents a premier opportunity to become an integral component of the nation's leading, most respected, and fastest-growing brand specializing in in-person dating events. For more comprehensive information detailing opportunities for involvement, partnership, or the initiation of your own Speed Mingle events, please visit thespeedmingle.com or contact our dedicated partner relations department at 844.2.mingle 8442646-453. We encourage you to follow Speed Mingle across all major social media platforms. Join our rapidly expanding digital community to remain current and engaged with all of our initiatives. Our digital channels feature new episode notifications. Ensure you never miss the latest in-depth discussion from 21st Century Dating Decoded. Event schedule updates. Receive exclusive information regarding all forthcoming Speed Mingle events, registration protocols, and special promotions within your region. Dating guidance and recommendations. Access exclusive content, interviews with experts, and pragmatic advice designed to assist in navigating the modern dating environment. Don't forget to follow Speed Mingle on all your favorite social apps at our official handle, @TheSpeedMingle.